US President Donald Trump has signed a new executive order centralizing the regulation of artificial intelligence across the United States. The directive, issued from the Oval Office, aims to prevent individual US states from creating their own sets of AI rules and to consolidate all regulatory authority at the federal level. The order marks a significant restructuring of how the United States intends to govern emerging technologies. With this action, the Trump administration signals that artificial intelligence will be managed under a single national framework instead of what officials describe as a fragmented system of 50 different state-level approaches. Images from the White House show President Trump seated at the Resolute desk, signing the executive order in the presence of senior cabinet members, lawmakers, and advisors. Among those attending were U.S. Secretary of the Treasury Scott Bessent, U.S. Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick, and Senator Ted Cruz. During the signing, the president emphasized that the decision was driven by concerns over regulatory consistency and efficiency. He said the current system made nationwide implementation of AI standards difficult and slow. In his remarks, he stressed that the administration's objective is to streamline oversight and reduce barriers for industries relying on artificial intelligence technologies. President Trump stated, "We want to have one central source of approval, and we have, I think, great Republican support." I think we probably have Democrat support too, because it's common sense, and you can't go to every time you make a change, and it could be a very reasonable change, you still won't get it approved if you have to go to 50 states. So this centralizes it. The administration argues that a unified regulatory approach is essential to maintaining U.S. competitiveness, particularly in relation to China. The president framed the issue as a strategic necessity, pointing to what he described as the United States' current technological lead. He said, "We're leading China by a lot. China knows that, and not doing this would be the greatest gift to China and other countries, but China in particular, that China has ever received." This executive order arrives at a moment of intensified global attention on AI governance. Governments worldwide are weighing how to balance innovation with oversight, and several major economies have begun drafting their own regulatory frameworks. In the United States, however, most AI-related rules have until now been shaped at the federal agency level or through state legislatures, with states adopting varying degrees of restrictions or guidance. The new directive seeks to override that patchwork. It instructs federal departments and agencies to assume full regulatory responsibility for artificial intelligence systems developed, deployed, or commercialized within the country. The document also calls on federal bodies to design a uniform process for reviewing AI-related changes, safety standards, and compliance mechanisms. White House Chief of Staff Will Scharf underscored the administration's position during remarks following the signing. He stated that the current decentralized approach poses risks to national competitiveness and to industries that operate across state borders. Scharf said, "This is an executive order that orders aspects of your administration to take decisive action to ensure that AI can operate within a single national framework in this country, as opposed to being subject to a state-level regulation. That could potentially cripple the industry." His comments reflect broader concerns raised by industry groups who argue that inconsistent rules across states could limit the development of advanced systems, increase compliance costs, and hinder the deployment of new AI technologies. The administration maintains that its goal is not to expand regulation, but to make oversight predictable, uniform, and aligned with federal strategic priorities. According to officials, the order will also involve coordination with relevant agencies, including the Departments of Commerce, Treasury, and other federal entities responsible for technology standards and economic policy. The executive order positions the federal government as the singular authority responsible for approving AI-related initiatives, modifications, and operational frameworks. Supporters of the administration's approach argue that this structure will offer clarity to companies working across multiple jurisdictions, especially those producing high-value AI systems used in healthcare, national security, transportation, financial services, and commercial applications. In Washington, policy analysts note that the move could strengthen federal leverage in shaping how the United States approaches future AI risks, such as algorithmic bias, system safety, and misuse concerns. Others observe that state governments have taken varying approaches in recent years, with some pushing for strict consumer protections while others favored lighter regulatory models. By centralizing oversight, the administration seeks to eliminate discrepancies in how AI systems are approved, tested, or monitored. This includes establishing uniform requirements for companies developing or deploying AI tools that have national or international reach. The White House describes the executive order as part of a broader effort to accelerate U.S. innovation. President Trump and senior officials have repeatedly pointed to China as the primary competitor in advanced technologies, emphasizing the importance of maintaining what they describe as a significant strategic lead. The president's reference to China during the Oval Office remarks highlights the geopolitical dimension of AI policy. He has argued that inconsistent domestic regulations would weaken the United States at a time when global AI competition is intensifying. The executive order does not detail specific regulatory mechanisms, but directs federal departments to establish them. It also signals that federal guidance will supersede state-level rules, positioning Washington as the sole governing authority over AI regulation in all 50 states. Officials say this centralized oversight will allow U.S. companies to operate under one clear set of rules, regardless of where they manufacture, test, or deploy their products. According to the administration, this will reduce delays associated with state-by-state approval processes and prevent what it views as regulatory fragmentation. Industry reaction is expected to develop in the coming days. Some sectors have previously welcomed the prospect of national AI standards, arguing that a unified framework will simplify compliance and accelerate growth. Others have expressed concerns that federal preemption may limit states' ability to respond to local or sector-specific risks. The administration's order does not address potential legislative action from Congress, where separate discussions on AI governance have continued. Lawmakers from both parties have proposed various measures on transparency, safety, data use, and industry responsibility. Those efforts, however, remain under negotiation, and it is unclear how the new executive order will influence congressional deliberations. At the White House, officials reiterated that the primary goal is to prevent regulatory duplication and ensure that technological progress remains aligned with national strategic interests. They emphasized that federal agencies will now be responsible for implementing the order's directives and coordinating across departments to maintain oversight. The signing event at the Oval Office concluded with the president reaffirming his belief that centralizing AI regulation is necessary to sustain U.S. leadership. He highlighted bipartisan potential, noting that the issue could receive support from both Republicans and Democrats due to its national implications. The executive order now enters the implementation phase, during which federal agencies will begin drafting the mechanisms required to enforce the unified regulatory framework. This is expected to include consultations with industry leaders, technical experts, and regulatory bodies to establish standards that reflect both innovation needs and national priorities. For now, the Trump administration's action places the federal government at the center of the country's AI regulatory landscape, marking a major shift in how artificial intelligence will be governed in the United States. The United States has now moved to a single federally controlled system for regulating artificial intelligence, with the executive order formally centralizing decision-making authority in Washington.